The hardest part about starting anything new, whether it's a weight loss journey or a health transformation or just finally taking care of yourself, is always the start, the moment where you're staring at where you are and where you want to be. And the gap feels so big. It almost feels impossible. But here's the thing, it's not. You just need a way in. Let's talk about how to get started when you feel stuck. You know, we're over 40. Our energy is at an all-time low. And if we're being perfectly honest, sometimes we're just lacking the discipline to begin. You're not alone. I've been there. I have some thoughts on how to turn things around. Let me just share that I didn't just wake up one day 70 pounds lighter, doing healthy things and feeling good about myself. Really, if only. The wake-up call for me came when my health was literally trying to take me out. I was so exhausted, run down, to a point where I almost fell asleep behind the wheel. I had my boys in the car. We were headed to their piano lesson. I don't even recall what happened, but I was jarred awake as I was veering off the road. I dropped them off and I sat in the car feeling terrified, sad, confused, and mostly angry. It hit me, you know, like those connect the dot pictures. I wasn't just ignoring the fact that I was carrying extra weight, a sign of not the best health, in my opinion, but I was putting everything and everyone I loved at risk, including myself. That was my breaking point. Up until that moment, I equated losing weight with looking good in my clothes or hitting a certain number on the scale. Sitting in the car, thinking about what had just happened, I was like, Tressey, your health is failing. And if you don't change, you're not going to see your children grow up, nor get to live out your dreams with the love of your life. That moment became my why, and it gave me the fire I needed to take my health seriously, not as a beauty goal, but as a life-saving mission. Because excess weight beyond what our body needs is a health matter from where I stand. In order to correct things, I began to approach my healing, my health, the way a top-notch hospital would approach a patient in critical care. The backbone of what they do boils down to routines, non-negotiables, and structure. It wasn't and it isn't about willpower. It was about survival for me. This is how I did it. When we feel stuck, we should not try to overhaul our entire life in one day, as tempting as that is. Start small, and I mean small. For me, that was taking a hard look at what and how I was eating. That was the smallest barrier of entry for me. I kept a food log of the times I ate and what I ate. In doing that, it became abundantly apparent that I was eating way too many dense, heavy carbohydrate type foods right before the boys and I would head out. Blood sugar level drops? That's a real thing. The thing is, I didn't overhaul my diet. Instead of my usual creamy veggie pasta dish with a roll, I omitted the roll and I used less of the cream sauce. That alone made a huge difference in my ability to sustain my energy for longer. See, in times past, when I wanted to change my diet, change my health, I thought about change as some kind of grand sweeping thing, when all that was really needed was for me to create a tiny win. Another small change I made was after I dropped the boys off. Instead of sitting in the car on my phone, snacking and napping, I got up and I would take a quick walk in the area, sometimes just circling my car. Now for you to move from being stuck, start with one small tiny thing, a 5-minute stretch in the morning, swapping juice or alcohol for water when dining out. That's it. Our wonderful brains know that if we can stick to something small, it can better support us mentally to build momentum to keep going and going and going. I truly believe that once you start showing up for yourself in these meaningful small ways, you're proving to yourself that you're worth it, and that matters. Remember when I said I approach my healing the way a top-notch hospital staff? They do not wait for their patients to feel like it. They've got a schedule. Routines, routines, routines. And that's exactly what you and I need regularly. And especially when our motivation is low and our energy is dipping, which happens a lot during peri and postmenopause, right? And did I mention that during all of the health failing, I was in the throes of perimenopause and I didn't even know it. When I say routines, I don't want you to get nervous. I'm not talking about running marathons. I'm talking about simple, non-negotiable routines. Over the years, I've developed several non-negotiables, but at the start, my non-negotiable was to walk 15 minutes a day, inside, outside, on a treadmill, around the house. It didn't matter. I had to walk 15 minutes every day. I was committed to myself, my family, to follow through each day. Have you given any consideration to what your non-negotiables would be? Maybe it is to take a walk every morning, eat a source of protein with each of your meals, or not eat chips in bed. The thing about it is our routine becomes our structure, our anchor, especially when we don't feel like doing it. It is the framework for our care. Just like in a hospital, the focus isn't on how you feel in the moment. It is about what your health needs, period. This one is big. I shared mine earlier on with you. In order for us to do hard things, we've got to find our why. I mean that deep soul level reason for why it matters. That goes for anything. Mine was staring at my boys and knowing that if I didn't take control of my health, I would not be around, or my poor health would cause them and my wonderful husband to do more, be more than they should, because it wasn't an unforeseen tragedy that happened. I allow this. That was and still is my why. And it keeps me going when the motivation isn't there. I want you to think about your own why. Maybe it's your kids, your grandkids, or maybe it's being able to move without labored breathing or pain. Whatever it is, you've got to hold on to that tight. Write it down. Say it out loud. Your why, when it's deep and it's strong enough, will push you forward when nothing else will. Whoa, when I tell you perfection is a lie and a trap. I held the title for Queen of Perfection for far too long. I knew I wasn't where I should and wanted to be health-wise, way before the car incident. But I was waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, for everything to align without a hiccup, taking my focus off perfection because that wasn't the goal. I was able to notice and appreciate my progress, little things, like the first week going for a walk while the boys were in practice. I could barely make it to the end of the block, a suburban block, not a city block. The perfection-seeking me would have given the whole thing the middle finger and got back in the car. But I didn't. Instead, what I did was I made the goal smaller, doable for where I was. So yeah, I couldn't make it to the end of the walk, but I could take 10 steps and then rest. And I did that over and over again, building on increasing each time. I would tell myself, just keep moving forward. That's it. Did I always keep moving forward? Was every single day a major success for me? No, it wasn't. Because guess what? I slipped up, and you might too. And that's okay. We are human. The point is to keep showing up. Yes, even on the days when we don't feel like it. Those small steps add up to massive change. I am a Virgo and a recovering perfectionist who is accustomed to doing things for myself by myself. I don't ask for help. I am the one who helps. But what 53 years of living has taught me is that we are not made to do life by ourselves. I felt less stuck. Things were less hard when I had a community, a support system. I am no longer doing things like an island unto herself, and it feels good. I would invite you to find people who understand your journey, who can lovingly hold you accountable and celebrate your progressive wins. That could be a family member, your best friend, an online group, or even this space here. Because sometimes just knowing someone is cheering you on and holding you to your commitment might just be the push you need to stay consistent. I love being your cheerleader here weekly. I also send additional helpful insights in my bi-weekly newsletter, linked in the comments below.